Through Adversity is sponsored by MVS Autos, keeping you on the road. MVS Autos offer a range of vehicle services including MOT, servicing, repairs, welding, diagnostics, aircon and much more. Based in Wormley, serving all of Bristol and surrounding areas. For 10% discount, quote tap MVS when booking. Welcome to Through Adversity with me, Rich, your host, and thank you to my sponsor, MVS Autos, based in Wormley in Bristol. And don't forget to hit the subscribe, like, and make a comment. So today I'm joined by Mr. Lewis Clark. I know Lou, the other third of the ex-con Chronicles. Lou, welcome to the show, mate.
What's happening, Rich? I'm happy to see you. I feel like
You
seen
too,
you in
mate.
ages.
I've missed you.
I've actually missed you as well. Like Hannah and that's always asking about you. Spoke to Rich, you spoke to anyone. But we all live so far apart, so it's just hard to keep us all together, you know? And everyone's grafting and working.
It is. Do you know what? I think it was a really good idea that what we came up with. And the energy was there, but it's just geographically, it was just hard, wasn't it, mate?
Do you know what? It's still there, Rich. It still could happen. Yeah. Like the way you've got your studio set up now, your little grow house, we can probably bring it back later on next year.
I think we should, mate. I think even if we just dip our toe in now and again, you know, just chuck one out there like a reunion, and just do something, can't we? Because we're all moving fast in different directions, aren't we?
Yeah.
You know, but this show, Lou, is about you. It's all about you. And I just want to say something for a start. I think you're extremely ruggedly good looking, much better than Frank, because Frank's class is handsome Frank, and I think he rides on that whole thing about being good looking, but he's got nothing to him. Whereas yourself, Lou, there's more to you, isn't there?
Oh, do you know what, Rich? I really appreciate that, man, because I've had my confidence knocked lately, so you just brought it straight back up again, mate.
Mate, I look at you thinking, I hate him. I wish I was like him. I hate Lewis.
But Rich, mate, you're a bald fella, and you've not got a beard, and you're still good looking. Usually, if you haven't got a beard to go over your bald head, you're like
upside down head syndrome, isn't it? You got to do something with it. Yeah, but Lou, I thank you, and I think we need to get together, me and you, and just see what sort of chemicals bubble up and see where it goes.
I'm up for that, mate.
Yeah.
Like take that, you want it?
I'm on my way. I'm outside your house, mate. Really, I'm not really in here. that won't be funny if you move that and then this moved at the same time.
Oh man, yeah.
For those on audio version, Lewis leant across, I moved the curtain, and my curtain moved the same. There we go. So Lou, let's have a chat about your journey. You've done podcasts before, haven't you, mate? And this is a bit like weird with me and you because although we don't go back that far, I do feel like I really know because we're kind of padded up on Banged Up Abroad.
We've done a bit of bird.
Done a bit of bird. We supped a little bit of hooch. We've chilled out. We chilled out in the pad, and that's how I got to know you a little bit, wasn't it?
Yeah, and do you know what? You make a great cup of coffee as well in the mornings.
Oh, I forgot those croissants we had, wasn't it, with the avocado and poached egg? We've got a video footage of that, haven't we, as well?
Yes, we have.
That was the day of our release, wasn't it? Oh, mate, that was nice. Really nice.
That seems so far long ago now, that does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Have they done another one since then?
I don't think they have, Rich. And to be honest, I wish I kind of done things different on that show now. Acted up a little bit, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. But do you know what, mate? Being yourself is important, isn't it?
Yeah. I'd struggle to be anyone else if I was to go on and try and be someone I'm not. So I'm happy I've done it my way. But in a way, I thought I was going to get a lot more out of the show, Rich. I thought I was going to go in there. After that, people's going to be reaching out. Oh, Lou, do you know, come and take part in this show, or like someone. I want to be an actor, so I was hoping someone's going to reach out and say, look, I want to use this guy. I think it'd be useful. But yeah, none of it happened.
No, do you know, we all had this massive thought that it's going to slingshot us into some sort of fucking stardom. And I even started gotta get the book finished, wrote the second book like mad. It's got to be ready by October. It has to be. And it was not one little thing. No traction whatsoever. But do you know the good thing that came out of it? Me, you and Frank.
100%.
That's what came out of it. That was good.
Yeah, when you meet up with people and like we connected instantly, didn't we? Really started giving each other stick and that straight away. And Frank, he's just Frank, innit?
Yeah, I love Frank. He makes me laugh. He just does my head, and he's so gay. But you
Yeah,
know, he's all right.
he's the gay one out of us three.
He's definitely, but he's just so he's so pretty,
Yeah,
and I just want to take his clothes off and but I can't go into that really. But
not
I
right
can't wait
now.
to see not
Well,
right
but
now. This is it's a grown up show.
we've got
This
5
isn't.
minutes to get through before we start all of that,
Oh
Rich.
yeah, we got to keep it clean, haven't we? So
Yeah.
let's go back a little bit in time, Luke, because every podcast as well start your journey. So let's talk about growing up. You know, we know that it was a childhood, wasn't it, for you, a different sort of direction. But I've never really heard the full story properly. So tell me a little bit about it. When were you born? What's your birthday?
So my birthday is the 6th of June, 1986. I was born in St Thomas's Hospital in Lambeth, South London. I grew up in Battersea on the Patmore estate. Obviously, grown up with mum, dad, and my older brother, and then eventually we did have a little younger brother. My childhood growing up was what I thought at the time, Rich. I thought it was half normal. I was still going to school and playing out with my friends. But while I was doing all this, there was other stuff going on, like with like family and my dad in and out of prison, which I thought was normal. When my dad would disappear for months and years at a time, I'd think it's absolutely normal. The reason why I say I thought it's normal is because when you're young and your birthdays come up and Christmas comes up, my dad always provided. I never ever went without like birthday presents or Christmas presents, or if I needed money. So it felt normal. It's not until you get older you realize, oh, do you know what I could have done with dad being there? Because maybe I might have went down a different path.
Can I ask you a question about when you like it's normal with yourself for you? What about your circle of friends? Did they have dads doing similar sort of things then, or was it did you sort of gravitate towards friends which were normal like you?
Well, a lot of my friends, some of them had their parents around, and some of them just had their mums. And this is what I always asked myself was because a lot of my friends they was grafting, either selling drugs or doing robberies.
What
Was I
sort of
always
age is
feel
that
like,
from, Lou?
I beg your pardon?
What sort of age was that from, Lou?
Oh, what? Well, I started selling weed probably when I was about 14 or 15.
Were you smoking it as well at that age?
No, I've never
No.
been into drugs, Rich. Never been into drugs.
Yeah. That's good
Even
though, isn't it?
even though I've tried it once, I tried MDMA once in Calderley, and I had a great time. And that was
I mean,
one.
I can't sit here and say that I haven't enjoyed MDMA or some form of it now and again because I have been responsible for distributing large amounts and I have consumed large amounts. But we're not going to condone it. But it is fucking nice, isn't it?
It was nice at the time, but what you got to tell yourself when you're coming down and you're feeling sorry for yourself, that's when you feel like, why did I even do that?
Yeah,
You know.
it's
So
like days, literally several days of regret for 5 or 6 hours of a few hours of absolute pure joy, followed by several hours of sketchiness, and then like fluffy as hell for like a good
yeah,
few days, and then back to normal again, isn't it?
yes. And now I don't touch nothing whatsoever.
Yeah. So you grew up what you felt was normal with dad sort of like bouncing around and everything else, and you're getting involved in a little bit of this and that from the age of about 14. So what sort of direction did it take you in? Did it get you involved in like gangs and stuff like that then?
Yeah. So my estate was it was quite well known for gang activity. We had quite a mixed estate though. We had a lot of black people, a lot of white people, Asians. We had a very mixed culture like gang really. But it all started when we started having trouble with the people from the other side of where we lived in Stockwell and Brixton. And I think it started because someone got robbed, so we had to go over there and sort them out. And then obviously because we've sorted them out, they've got to come and retaliate now. And before you know it, there's gunshots going that way, there's gunshots going this way, there's people being stabbed. And as you know, Rich, we had a good sit down. I told you about my brother being shot 5 times in front of me. Uh, but when all of this was happening, Rich, there was occasions where we had shootouts and people shooting at us, and lucky enough, certain situations none of us got shot, but we'd all look at each other like, "Oh my days, you almost got shot!" Like it was half funny. It it was not half funny whatsoever. Like because I've lost quite a lot of friends. Sound.
I pushed the mute button. But you know what? Thanks, producer Lou. Being in the forces, I've got people I know that have been in something. Let's say a sanger, a sandbag sanger, which is like a sort of sentry post, if you like, and they're sat there in Afghanistan or Iraq, and they're just scanning out across. And the one guy said that all of a sudden the sandbag next to it just exploded where a round had hit it from a sniper. They got down, but what he did, he laughed. He laughed because he was still there to laugh,
Yeah,
and that's that sort of like adrenaline of like, oh, that was close, wasn't it? Christ.
yeah, and this was happening like every other week, Rich. It's not until like you start losing friends and people get like 30-year sentences, you start thinking, what the hell are we even doing, man? Like me, Rich, I was more into making money. Even though I was with all of my friends, I was part of the gang, but I was more involved in making money. I'd rather go and make money than have stupid little shootouts with people.
So
But
was
it's
it like you were doing your thing, your own thing, but you were like affiliated with different gang with the sort of people you grew up with maybe, and
yeah,
as you went off in one direction, sort of doing your thing, selling a few bits and bobs, they sort of became more gang oriented, but they were your pals. So
yeah,
if was it a case like if it was on top and they needed it, were you there? Would you get involved with them straight away, or was it
yeah.
like,
No, it was never. I'm not sure. It's always I'm there. If something was happening, Rich, and I happened to be there at the time, I'm gonna be involved. But I would always like read the situation first, like when they say, "Oh, we're gonna go over there and do this," and then I'll start using my head because I wasn't really about that. I'd rather go and make some money. If you look want to go and do this stupidness, that's on you. If I happen to be there at the time when you're having trouble with people, then I'm not just gonna stand there. Do you know what I mean?
yeah? Because I mean, from what I know of you, you're actually a very sort of calm and peaceful individual. It doesn't mean that you're not capable. It doesn't mean haven't lived that life, but you live that life, and that makes you into a calm person, doesn't it? Because you understand what you're capable of doing. You understand the lengths you will go to if it's
Yeah.
necessary, and that's how I see you as someone that's quiet, calm, chilled out, respectful. You'll be there for anyone within a drop of a hat, but at the same time,
Yeah.
it's a classic case. Don't take my kindness for weakness, isn't it? As
It's
simple as that.
it's exactly that, Rich, and it worries me. And sometimes it, I find it hard. I used to find it so hard to walk away from situations. But the reason why I do that is because I would be so worried. I'm going to take it to from here to the extreme and do something absolutely mental, which I'm gonna regret. The hardest thing is walking away from a situation feeling like an idiot. But
Yeah,
if that's going to keep me out of prison and keep me from not being shot, then I'm going to do that, Rich. But
yeah.
this is where a
It's
lot of the youngsters struggle. They struggle to walk away from situations.
yeah. There's that bravado, isn't it? Steps in, and it's like even if part of them doesn't want to do it, they've also got a lot of their pals saying, "Go on, do it." You know, get in. You can't. He's made a mug out of you. You got to get in there and do it. And then the part of him that wasn't going to do it is convinced. Well, no, I've got no choice now. There's always a choice, isn't there?
It's always a choice, Rich, man. Like even when I was in prison, I see a lot of the boys I had trouble with on the wing, and I thought, oh, here we go. And then I managed to just thought, you know what? I'm just gonna leave this. And as days and weeks and months went by, I ended up getting on with a lot of these people, Rich. And these were people we was having shootouts with. But these are people who some of my people have made them lose their lives and vice versa. So if I'm able to do it, everyone's able to do it, Rich. But it's just manning up. You have to man up and say, you know what? I don't want to be involved in this.
Yeah.
And this is
So
what we've got to get the youngsters thinking like.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I'll go back to the thing about the guns and that. Do you know what thing that sort of strikes me is? I mean, obviously we've both done a bit of time inside around a lot of people for gun crimes. A lot of veterans I know rarely get involved in gun crime because they understand what weapons are like and everything else. What gets me mostly is a lot of people from the street will go out and can probably pick up a firearm relatively easy, can they, if they know the right people? Probably
Yeah.
one or two phone calls away. Is the lack of understanding and discipline and capability and knowledge of how to fire that firearm correctly. So it's probably a good fucking. It's maybe good and bad, isn't it? If someone can't shoot and they're just squeezing off rounds, chance they're not going to hit nothing anyway, or they're going to hit the wrong person, which is even scary, isn't it?
And this is it, Rich. A lot of my friends what are doing 30-year sentences and that now, they've all hit the wrong people. They've not hit the people they intended to hit. when you spray machine guns and stuff, like they can go absolutely anywhere, depending on what
Yeah.
gun you got or whatever. But people don't know how to handle these things, Rich.
No.
You know, they don't know how to handle these things. They don't know what they're really capable of doing. They're just, I know it's an instant regret. Once they do it, I know they instantly regret doing what they've done. A lot of my friends I still talk to on the phone, Rich, and they'd be like, Lou, why did I even do that?
Yeah. And they're doing like a 30 stretch.
He's doing 34 years.
That's a long. Was that a double life?
Yeah, so get this, Rich. So the person's obviously dead. He got 34 years.
Yeah.
The person got shot, I think, about 8 times. And it is the wrong person.
Oh, man.
So my friend's done 14 years already out of this sentence. But why he's in prison, Rich, he's caught sepsis.
Oh,
And
no.
they've had to cut 4 of his fingers off and 1 leg. And that's karma. I just think that's karma. And even he says that to me.
How does he sit back and saying, I deserve that? Is that how he accepts what's happened to him, do you think?
I think he's half accepted it now, you know. I'm not sure how he's even called out in prison or whatever, so I'm pretty sure he's going to get a massive payout or something, but
yeah,
losing your leg, that's everything, isn't it?
Was he on the juice or anything like that? Like losing a dirty needle?
No, he's not a gym guy whatsoever. He just loves his food, just eats food and that.
Prison food's enough to give you sepsis, mate. That'll do it.
So I talk to him every other week and you can hear it in his voice, and I feel like he's finished. I feel he knows that's him now, and it's really sad, and it took him a very long time to realise I fucked up. Yeah.
I've come across a lot of young lifers, people that went to jail young, as people that have taken lives in gang culture, mostly from London areas, usually Midlands, and they've been sat there and they're like 15 years in, they got maybe 3 or 4 left, they're in a cat seat at the back end of it, and you've got these grown men with the mentality of a kid who's 17, 18 years old, because they haven't grown up properly, have they? They just haven't had a chance to adapt and grow up to become a real adult. And it's really worrying.
Yeah, I feel like I grew up quite quickly, though. I feel like I had to kind of man up. Where Dad was away, I feel like I had to kind of man up and start bringing money to the household. So I feel like a bit of my childhood might have been taken away, where I had to like start juggling what I was doing and that.
Yeah, I think that's something that happened. I mean, as a dad and having kids that have had to grow up quickly, or certainly my oldest had to grow up quite quickly when I went away, I did that really bad thing, mate. When I got sentenced, I knew I was going to get the jury in coming in on that day, so I knew I wasn't coming back. So I left a message on the old computer. I left a video message. Look, if I don't come back, it's likely I've been found guilty. I said to my son, "Look, son, you're the man in the house now." And as much as I felt I needed to do that, it's probably the worst thing I ever done, because they watched it and he took that literally. He's only 13 years old, mate. And so I guess that's the same as what your experience is. Like, you feel that step up, isn't it? Step up and do what you got to do.
There was like things as a young kid. I don't know. I feel like there was an occasion, Rich. I was quite young. A fella's come past to my house. He's trying to intrude in my house while my mum's in, and I half noticed, man. And as a young kid, I've had to give him a dig. I'm thinking. I'm looking back now, thinking I shouldn't have had to even do that. Do you know what I mean? Just things like that, because it could have went somewhere else. Even though I set my dog bit him after anyway, but
did he?
Yeah, my dog got him after. Yeah.
What dog did you have, mate?
He was an Argentinian Dogo.
What's that? That sounds like it's pretty savage.
They're like massive pit bulls. They're all white.
Really?
Yeah, you can't get them no other colour. Just all white, big fat head on him. His teeth are out here. I was always into my dogs growing up, though. I've never been without a dog. I love
dogs myself, mate. I feel I had one when I was when I joined the army. My dad bought one, a German Shepherd. Loved that dog. I trained it and everything. And I come back off leave about 6 months later on. Dog was gone. He got rid of the dog because he couldn't look after it. I thought, I was wounded, mate.
No.
Yeah, because normally she piss herself. She gets so excited she piss her pants all over the floor. And I would literally come back off a night on the piss, and I'd stagger through the door before I joined up. Stagger through the door, and the dog's basket is at the bottom of the stairs on the right of the porch. And I'd go in, I wouldn't make up the stairs, mate. I'd just literally collapse on the floor, put my head on her belly, and go to sleep. And I'd wake up in the dog basket.
Yeah, no, they're always welcome, always happy to see you when you come through the front door, aren't they?
Yeah. So let's talk about, you said about the stuff you're doing as a kid and trauma and everything else. So has anything happened to you which did your sort of childhood take any funny turns, in the sense of getting involved in anything or any interesting stories you want to share, anything which has caused you problems later on in life?
Well, growing up selling drugs, Rich, is you always have people trying to rob people in it. So at an early age, I see guns. People have tried to rob me, and I've seen a lot of things. So yeah, probably like having guns put to you at a young age is
Yeah.
quite a big thing in that. But there was one other. I'm gonna take this somewhere else, Rich, because there was some other thing what happened.
Yeah.
I was only gonna share this in my book, but I'm happy to share my mate Rich.
Well, give us just to give us
I'm gonna give
a
you
brief.
a little bit.
Yeah.
So in my block, I lived on the second floor, and there was a ground floor, and on the ground floor was like a Portuguese man,
Yeah.
and he was half alright. I've known him for years. I'd always say hello to the family, but there was one occasion, Rich, I was coming home probably early evening, and he
Yeah.
was like, Lewis, calling me over. I was like, what? And he's like, oh, do you want to buy my stereo? Because he had a
Yeah.
really loud stereo. It was always pumping music in the daytime. And he's like, oh, I was like, yeah, let me see it. How much or whatever? And Rich, as I've gone to walk through the door, he's kind
Yeah.
of stood in the door and he's kind of blocked me and he's pulled a gun out, Rich.
No way.
He's pulled a gun out, and as he's done that, he's tried to push himself onto me.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Really?
Rich, he's tried to push. So I've seen the gun. He's tried to push himself onto me now.
Yeah.
Rich, my heart was doof, 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 doof. I've managed to escape, got out of the house.
What? So he's gonna try to assault you in some way,
Yeah, he was trying to
like
scare me
sexual?
with this. He tried to
Yeah.
entice me into the house with the music, and then he tried
Ah,
to scare me with the gun. And as he's done that, he's tried to press himself on me. But
oh,
when
mate.
he's done that, Rich, my heart's pounding. My first thing was just run, because a lot of people that
Yeah.
might panic and they could freeze, or some people just
Yeah.
panic and run.
Yeah.
I've panicked and run, run straight to my brother,
Yeah.
and my mum's overheard the conversation with my brother. And I'm not one to call the police for anything, Rich, but
Yeah.
that's a dangerous man right there. Them sort of people, I don't mind the
Yeah.
police getting involved for.
Yeah.
My mum did call the police. They went to the house, raided the house. They actually did find the thing,
Did
and
they?
it was imitation firearm.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but he's managed to get bail, Rich.
What?
He's managed to get bail, and about 3 weeks after the incident, I caught him trying to leave the house with his bags packed.
Oh,
Uh,
really? Didn't
I,
skip bell?
I had my dogs with me.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Yes. Good.
Yes.
Was it worth it?
He got he got he, he got he got it really bad from
Good.
myself and my older brother and the dogs.
Fucking right as well.
They had him
Fucking
spread
right.
out like a starfish on the floor, one pulling on
Yeah.
that arm, one pulling the leg that way. One was clumping him.
Do you
But
know
that
what, mate?
is a
That is
scary
really
situation,
scary.
Rich.
And do you
Scary
know what?
situation.
And that fear is real, isn't it? Because I I experienced it when I think I was about 17, maybe 16, and everyone says, "Oh yeah, you just do this, you just do that." Sometimes it's that overwhelming and unexpected that you have nowhere. Once that fight or flight kicks in, you
Mm.
can't control that unless you're disciplined enough to do something. And the weird thing is, it's nothing like that, right? But it was in Debenhams toilets, right, in Bristol, and I went just to have a wee. Went to the toilet, went to the cubicle, and when I sort of looked around, you only get the little pedo holes drilled in the wall
Oh,
back then.
Frank's been about.
Yeah, Frank's here. I looked across, there was an eye looking at it, and I just panicked. I thought, oh shit, I just panicked. I was only sort of 16, 17, and I
Yeah,
just absolutely, I felt terrified. And I just literally ran, and I sort of ran out of the toilet and went into I think it was up the top where the sofas and that were. I just stood there, and I just sort of looked over and I thought, Christ, did that really
right.
just happen? And it was back in the sort of, this was back in the 80s when the whole, this is going to sound horrible and it might sound a little bit politically incorrect, but it's when, if you were gay or homosexual,
It's frowned
it
upon.
wasn't, it was frowned upon. It wasn't, you couldn't easily be as open about your sort of sexuality. And it was when it had that whole sort of seedy look and seedy feel to it. I'm not saying that's how it was, but as a 16-year-old brought up the world's brought up, it was wrong. And for that fat someone was just fucking noncing up through this hole in the wall. Now, if I'd had a pen and I stuck a pen through the old,
For his
great
old
joy.
chap's eye.
Yeah. So what? Just your eye. Where's your cock, mate?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's not enough. Give me a bigger hole. So, but I can understand how you would have felt really scared
That was
because
it was a scary. It was scary, and I've not really told this story to a lot of people. Like it's never been told on a podcast because I was saving it
yeah,
for a book where I can go into a lot more detail about it. But that stayed with me for a long time. So people
yeah,
don't understand why I am the way I am in certain situations. I'm
it
happy my dad
stays.
was in prison at the time as well,
He would have
because
killed him, wouldn't he?
yeah, it'd have been gone.
Yeah,
It'd have been
100%,
gone
mate.
straight in the Thames.
How? So talking of straight with the rest of the bodies. So
Yeah,
talking of prison and that. So you know you've done a bit of bird. You're getting involved in a few things. Um, how many times you been away altogether? Is it 2 or 3?
2 or 3 times I've been away now.
Yeah.
So
So talk.
my first time I went away was 2005. I went away for doing a cash in transit robbery. You know when they're filling up cash machines and taking the cassettes in and out
Yeah.
to refill. It's a bit of a rubbish one though, to be honest, Rich.
Go on. Talk
So,
me through it.
oh mate, so it was a hot day. It was a hot summer's day in Streatham High Street. We've been driving around all day looking for a cash in transit van to rob.
You say we. Can you get? Obviously, can't say who the other person is,
Oh
but
yeah, Ian Jenkins. We both
yeah.
got nicked. Shout out Ian.
Welcome to the show, Ian
Yes,
Jenkins.
Ian. Oh, I love Ian. Ian's so funny, man. So me and Ian's turned up at this place, and we're watching them do the cash deliveries in and out the train station.
Yeah.
So I think it is like on the third one we was going to go. So he's on the third run. He's got out to go on the train station. We've run up behind him, gave him like a body shot, and took the cassette. But as we've grabbed the cassette, Rich,
Yeah.
there's old Bill already in the train
Oh
station,
no.
armed police already in the train station. We looked up. I was like, oh my god. We started running, and
Yeah.
we actually started getting away from them. We frisbeed the box back at them at their feet to try and knock them over and that because they're
Yeah.
quite heavy.
Yeah.
But Rich, as we've got back to the motor, the getaway car,
Yeah.
the driver wasn't in the car.
Oh shit. Where's he
The,
gone?
he was on the other side of the road having a piss. There was no keys. There was no keys either, so we couldn't get in ourselves and drive off.
Yeah.
So we carried on running at the back of this high street. Now we've actually got away, but when we've come into the middle of the road, because we can see the driver from afar now, we're telling him to come.
Yeah.
But where we're telling him to come, the police are behind him also.
So they can see you
So,
as well.
so the police could see me and my pal Ian doing this. But as we're doing this, a riot van's pulled up behind us.
Oh no.
I've looked at my pal Ian. I said, "We're going guilty. Just go guilty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry about talking to the police station. Just go guilty to it, whatever."
Hands
So
up straight
anyway,
away.
when we're getting interviewed, you know when I said we was doing this
Yeah.
in the interview, the police said we was doing a money sign to them,
Oh really?
like to take the piss out of them, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And obviously, we was telling the driver to come.
Yeah.
Rich, we're in handcuffs, just about to get in the back of this riot van. Our driver decides to drive past us.
Did he get pulled?
No, he went
didn't.
home,
He got
Rich.
away.
He got away. He got
No
away.
way. So would you? So let's pull this apart a little bit. So how much planning went into that job?
None.
None. Was it like a sort of random, like fuck
spare
it,
of the moment. Spare
impulse?
of the moment thing. We had a like stolen car with plated up or whatever.
Yeah.
We had balaclavas on in the summer.
Gloves, big jacket,
Gloved up in
hoodie.
the summer.
Yeah.
And no, it just looked so unplanned. And that when it got to court, there's like, where was your car?
Where is it?
I mean,
Did you
have one?
Did you know how much money might have been in the cassettes? Did you have an idea?
I do, yeah.
Could have been a bit.
Not a lot, Rich. It was £340 in pound coins. We got the wrong cassette.
Oh my god, mate, that's brilliant. That's got to go down as well. At least it's a steep learning curve, isn't it?
Oh,
So would you put that? So it going wrong? Would you put that down to poor planning, poor choice of driver, or everything? What would you put it down to?
poor planning, poor driver. It's the spare of the moment. We was bored. And the thing is, Rich, I was probably doing all right because I was selling weed at the time as well. But I
Yeah.
was getting really bored just selling weed. And I kind of started wanting to follow in my dad's footsteps in doing armed robberies, which excited me because he just got a 10.5-year sentence 3 months before I got nicked for that one.
Right. So, what age did you know your dad was doing what he was doing? Like,
Probably
as in
about.
armed robbery,
I probably knew he was up to something about 10 years old, but
when you could understand
when I
what
could
was right from
understand
wrong.
certain things, and then
Yeah,
when I got to like 13, 14, I'm like, yeah, he's an armed robber. Because all the older kids on my state know my dad, and they used to look up to my dad and say
yeah,
certain things, and I'd click onto it.
yeah. So stuff that as you get older, you begin to think, oh, hang on a minute. All right, okay. Now it starts to make sense. Do you,
Yeah.
did it make you want to aspire to be like your dad then?
Yeah, so in a way, I did want to be like my dad, and the respect what my dad used to get shown around the estate and from his friends, I wanted
Yeah,
that also.
yeah,
But I didn't realize I could have got that respect in a different way. I didn't have to go and start doing robberies and that, you know?
yeah. It's the person, isn't it? Not what the person does. I mean, other
Yeah.
things. But so let's talk about. So you did the prison when you did. How long did you do for that botched up robbery
They
then?
gave me 3 years.
Oh shit!
3 years to 18 months.
How old were you then?
17 going on
Oh,
18.
why? Oh, why? So it'd have been a hard 3 years then.
I went to Feltham.
How was that?
I went to. Do you know what? I actually enjoyed it because as soon
Yeah,
as I got the induction wing, Rich, it was like
yeah,
a massive youth club. All my friends were on the wing. They're like, "Lou, what's
yeah,
happening, Ian?"
yeah,
They're all excited to see us.
yeah. So
But
it
it's not.
wasn't
It's
that.
just
It wasn't
the rough.
scrapping all the time then.
I had one scrap, and that was in. I got moved from Feltham to a YO called Portland. I think it's a mixed
Down my
adult
way.
jail now. But I went
Yeah,
to Portland, and that was pretty rough. People was being stabbed in
yeah.
the showers and that nearly every other
Really?
day. I got stabbed on free flow.
Did you?
Yeah, yeah. I had a fight with a fella on free flow, and
Yeah.
he managed to stab me with a
Where'd he
pen.
get you?
He got me in my back with a pen.
Oh, what sharpened up pen or just a?
I don't know. I think it's like a biro because it's just like an imprint. It had blood
Yeah.
coming out, but you can see that it's just like an imprint, a little dot, and then just a little bit of blood coming out.
I've always had this thought about get stabbed with a biro that if he stabs someone with the tip still in it, the tip will stay in there and you get the ink thing come
The
out and
ink
it's
poisoning.
like a sort of tag, like a sort of
Yeah,
you've been tagged like
yeah.
a But yeah, so you've been stabbed. So the first jail was about 3 years, 18 months, and then you come out. How did life go after that? Did you sort of want to get more involved in it then?
So I've come out, and it's like when you come out of prison at a young age, Rich, all the boys be like, "Oh, lose home," all excited. Like I don't know why everyone gets excited for like I don't know why, but I come home and I didn't have no money, Rich. Obviously, my mum was spending my money while I was in prison, and I left my car with my mum as well at the time, and I was paying bits and pieces off. So I've got back into selling weed, Rich.
Yeah,
So I think I lasted, it's about 6 weeks, or I say 2 to 3 months. I lasted. I was selling weed, doing all right again, grafting. I didn't realize the police put a obo on me.
oh really?
So when my house, Rich, had a door and then a gate. So when I could do deals, I can just open my door and put my hand through the gate, so no one could run in my house and try and rob me.
Yeah.
But they was videoing me, and they got me. They had me
Hand on
passing
it.
cannabis through my gate of my house.
Yeah. So what sort of
So
size deals were you doing? Was it like
I was
eights, Emrys,
ounces,
Qs, ounces?
ounces, tens, eighths.
Yeah.
So
So you're getting
the
what, a
person
nine, get a nine half a key in at a time, and then
I'd get a fair amount in
enough.
at a time.
Yeah,
But the fella who I passed the gear to, Rich,
yeah,
he got the police got him round the side of my house, but I couldn't see what was going on.
yeah,
And I've got a phone call saying Lewis, your pal's getting strip searched in the back of a van at the side of the
yeah.
house. But I didn't know none of that was going on. So as soon as I
Right.
got the call, I packed up my duffel bags and I've managed to escape out the back of my house.
Yeah,
And then I've got nicked a week later. They asked me to come and hand myself in, which call I'm gonna go and hand myself in. I'm not really gonna get charged. They found nothing in my house.
yeah.
But the fellow who got nicked, who I passed the drug to, had 2 ounces and a Q on him. So he got a £70 fine for possession, and I got 10 months in prison for supplying
Intent.
cannabis.
Was it green or solids?
Green.
So let's talk about green. So a lot of people don't really listen to this. There's different sort of loads different sorts of cannabis, aren't there? And there's so much green around. And then have you been through the phase? I've managed a lot of green in the past,
It
and
is mostly just to say, it's always skunk. It'd never be like ash or high grade or cess. It'd
yeah,
always be skunk, like the high strength.
Do you ever tried to get ripped off of that bogweed stuff that's been through? It's just like sticks and branches, and some people do smoke it, but it's just they feel, what is this? I've asked for skunk, and this is bogweed.
I remember there was some cannabis going around years ago, Rich, and it was sprayed in fiberglass.
Mm,
So it was made to look like the cannabis had loads of THC on, when in
yeah,
fact it was fiberglass they were spraying, and it was making a lot of people ill.
yeah. There's two things we were doing. This is back in the sort of like early 2000s that this started happening. Is it would come in from Holland a lot of the time, and originally Holland, it was really good for it, really good. It would come in sometimes compressed as well, and what they started doing was spinning it and spraying it. Spinning it, getting all the THC out of it, so it comes
Yeah,
over, which is nothing there. It's just that it looks okay, but there's all the goodness has been spun out of it,
yeah,
or that it would be sprayed like say fiberglass or sand to make
yeah.
it look like it's got loads of bud, and it give the impression that it's a really good bit of green. And you got to have the eye, haven't you? You got to know the difference between it, because like you say, smoking fiberglass is really bad.
It was burning people's throats, Rich.
Yeah,
I probably went through about five. I've got dropped 5 kilos of it, and I had to back it because I was not giving it to my people, and because
yeah,
I knew about it straight away. And then it's like, Lou, we're giving it to you for 28s. This was early, about 2001 sort of times, Rich, when I was about
yeah. That's a
16,
good
17
price.
years old.
That's a good price, 28, mate. Well, then
Now
again, it's good price
they
because
wanted
it's
30.
sprayed.
They wanted 34s for it, but I said I
Yeah,
don't want it. I'm backing. They said, "Oh, you can take it for 28s," because they just wanted it off their hands.
yeah.
But the prices kept going up and down. There was always, when there was a drought, it'd go back up to like 5 grand, and then it'd come back down to 34s.
Yeah, yeah. It's a fluctuating market, because I know a lot of people don't realize that if stuff comes in, and you know the rough price, don't you, where it is, what it's going to be in. When
Yeah,
I first started with that stuff in like 97, 98, 99, maybe a kilo, it was about 33, 32, give or take.
yeah,
And
yeah,
if someone comes in and said, "Oh yeah, I get it for 16," it ain't what they're saying it is. It's something completely different. And then someone else comes in, and then homegrown started really kicking off in the sort of around about 2003, 2004. Everyone's starting to get homegrown, and that's when the problem started. So if you got any experience with people, I know you can't give away anything, but people growing their own and getting robbed, that is a big thing, isn't it?
yeah. A lot of the Vietnamese was doing the homegrown. I think back then I had some very, oh yes, I had some very good people around me at the time actually. But nowadays people just go around with the little heat guns, can't they? And they can kind of
Mm.
half tell which house is doing what.
Which I know when I was in, I was just eating a bit of Lindor chocolate. It is so good.
I know it looks good as well. It made my mouth water, Rich.
It's really nice. When I was in Horfield Prison,
Ah,
2013, we come out for a poker from Loudon Grange, which is a bad drop, coming from a nice cat B to a local jail. January 2013, it snowed. I was up on the threes and I was looking out my window at all the rooftops. And there's rooftops who had no snow on them. I thought,
ah,
oh dear, oh dear, they are in so much trouble when the helicopter goes over. Right, that one there, number 3, Horfield Road, and that one there, Cambridge Road.
yeah.
Going bang on the door, I think there's something going on in there. So yeah, the crops getting robbed was a big deal, mate. Still is, I think. I
It's
make
still
the
happening
assumption it is.
now. And the thing is, the reason why the people are doing it is because they can't call the police, can they?
No, they can't. No, it's like that thing I saw put on TikTok the other day about these two lads were on a train, and they got off the train. They were carrying some drugs. I think it was ketamine. No, what was it? Might have been ketamine, I think. And they got off the train because they're probably dipping into the bag, and they left the bag on the train, and they reported it missing to the transport police.
No,
Guess what happened? Police found it and got it taken. So yeah, you can't. That's the last thing, you don't involve the police if you lose a
you
bag full of
can't.
drugs. Here, it's just
Yeah.
insanity.
See with the police getting. See, every time I used to get nicked by the police and that, Rich, I'd never be hard work for them. I'd always accept it because you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
Like, I've never moaned. Every time I've gone to prison, I've never moaned about the police or whatever. They have to do what they
yeah,
got to do, to stop people like myself. So
yeah. Once your name is on their radar and they're coming for you, and they're either banging on your door or coming through it, you may as well just go, because you ain't going to
yeah,
escape. It's inevitable. They're going to get you. They're going to process you. You're probably going to go to jail. Why make it
yeah,
harder for everyone? Just accept it. Go down. Go down smiling, can't you?
that's it.
So looking at prison, so you did your bit. You ended up back in again, I assume, after you when because you had the odd one, and you got your bit of time for that.
Yeah.
When did you get your big one then, Lou? What was that? Tell us
Um,
about that, because that's slightly different, isn't it?
Yeah, so I got the big one back in 2013. I got sentenced for that, but it happened nearly a year before that because I was on bail for a long time as well. So it's for another cash and transit robbery. This
Planned?
time I was a little bit more prepared. Rich had cars
Yeah.
in places, gloves, and everything else, and all the motors were parked up nicely. So I've been watching the van pull up, Rich, every other week. And every time this van was pulling up, it was always the same person getting out. And this person was about 5 foot. He was so
Brilliant.
small, Rich, and he's
Yeah.
carrying like 40 grands and 20 grands at a time to
Yeah.
go and fill
Not
up his.
320 quid in coins.
No, this definitely wasn't this one, Rich, man. So he's in and out, and I was thinking, cool, this one's definitely a goer. Got the cars and that in place. And on the day of the robbery, Rich, I've
Yeah.
parked up, got the doodah on me. I'm
Yeah.
thinking this is going to be easy. Then the geezer gets out. I'm thinking, this ain't the same one from 2 weeks ago. This
Yeah.
geezer must have been about 20 stone, Rich.
No
He must
way.
have been about 20 stone. And then my Cody looked at me and he's like, Lou, you still want to do it? I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do it. And as I got out of the car, I've stuck the gun to him and said, drop it. But
Yeah.
he didn't hesitate, Rich. The first thing he done was swung the cassette at me.
No way. So he was
And
up.
as
He was game then.
he was game, and as he swung the cassette at me, I've gun bucked him about 5 times. But
Yeah.
you don't realize how much times you hit someone when when you get tunnel vision, Rich. So
Adrenaline kicks
I
off.
couldn't
Yeah.
see nothing else around me. All
Yeah.
I could see was him and the money. And at the time, I was thinking he's actually got my money, and I was getting so angry, thinking, why has he got my money, even though it's
Yeah.
not mine?
Yeah.
I've hit him about 5 times, which I regret because it's just a guy trying to do an honest day's work. He should have
Yeah.
just gave it to me, really.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've managed to get the cassette off him, got back in the car, and then as we're driving off, my Cody's
When
looked
you
at me.
say, so who's your Cody?
My Cody's is a good family member. It's my dad.
So you graduated to working with your old man.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
graduated now.
Yeah. Okay.
As I've
Sorry,
got
mate. Go on.
as I've got in the car now, we're driving off. He's looked at me. He said, "Look, he's nearly done ya." Like he's found it funny. I was like,
Yeah.
"Fucking just drive the fucking car, man." We got away. Got back into the second car now. Got away. Got home. Um, Opened up the cassette and stuff. There was £40,000 in there. For some reason,
When I say open it, Lou, is it you got to break into it or is it just open? What's the crack?
no. So on the cassette boxes, they got like a little magnet on the top where they press the little pin thing down, and it's like a
Yeah.
little magnet sets it off to release.
I see.
Anyway, they've done that, and then I've taken it. So I've got away, got home, it had £40,000 in it. Weren't too bad, just after
Yeah.
Christmas as well. So
Not a bad day's work.
not too bad. But a week later, the police have raided my house, my mum's house. And their reason for raiding the house was my dad's car was seen driving in convoy 2 weeks before the robbery took place, and
Right.
that's what led them to us. But that camera, what they used, was 10 miles away from that area.
Yeah.
So they've done loads of work to go and find wherever this car's come from. Anyway, dad's been nicked, but he's been released straight away. He got bailed the next day because
Yeah.
that's all they had was his car driving in convoy.
Yeah.
I've got nicked another week after that, and I was already in court for something else, Rich. I was in court at Camberwell court for something, another crime. And as I'm in court, I've looked at my pal Badger, and I was like, "Oh, there's armed police there, isn't there?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "I take my phone." I gave him my phone. He's like,
Yeah.
"What? They're here for you?" I was like, "Yeah, they're definitely here for me. Trust
Yeah.
me." And they let me finish in court. And as I've walked out, they've just nicked me and took me
Oh,
to
mate.
Red Hill Police Station, I think.
Yeah.
And then when they started reading the evidence, I was like, "Oh, get out of it. No comment. I'm going home. I'm getting bail for this. You ain't got no evidence on me." Gone home, gave me bail. They raided my house another 2 months after that again, Rich.
Yeah.
So they let us settle down again, made us think everything was all right. Done the house again, found nothing, took our phones again. And then it was following me around for a long time as well. They signed up to my gym.
Oh, so did you know?
Yes,
Did you find all this out during the trial?
I knew there was police from when I was in the gym anyway. But
Yeah.
started finding bits and pieces out when they was using evidence. Because they made the jury aware that they said Lewis Clark was very aware of his surroundings. when he was in the gym, in the petrol station, because they followed me into the petrol station, Rich.
Yeah.
And they're following me around hours. I'm just playing dumb anyway. I'm just picking up crisp and stuff, and they're picking up alcohol and like trying to have a normal conversation. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
you lot of shit, man. I just got back in my. I knew that I was filming them with my BlackBerry,
Yeah.
and they took that. They took that phone actually. I had all of them on camera following me, and on one
Really?
occasion they parked a van outside my house, and it was there for a good 8 weeks, and it
What?
hadn't
Just
moved.
not moved at all.
Yeah, it hadn't moved at all. But at night time, Rich, if you go to the back of the van, you can see a green sort of light glowing. So it's like
Yeah.
someone's in the back watching. So I've got
Yeah.
the little kids on the estate to go and smash all the wind mirrors off and put the windows through.
That from someone who's done surveillance, and I've been plotted up in vans on estates watching people doing, say, insurance scams and matrimonial cases. We've had guys in the van. We've had phone calls where we've done some rough estates, and you get there, right, and you put the van there in the morning, like before anyone gets up, say 5:30, 6 o'clock. You plot the van up so the back of the van is facing towards the target's door where they're going to
That's
come out
it.
and
Yeah,
capture the movement. Now the worst thing is, you put the van there when if it's in the winter, it's dark. You can't see nothing. And the light starts coming out, and you think, I've parked this van in a really bad place, or the guy that's driven it there and parked it up and left the guy in the back parked up really badly, in the way that it stands out like a sore thumb sometimes if there
yeah.
all day. And we've had the guys in the van say, Rich, come and get the van now. There's guys stood by the van talking about the van, and they're gonna come in a second. They're gonna break in and move it, because what I've done, I parked the van by the back of a sort of drove up against a fence, and I thought it was just a panel fence. It wasn't. It was a gate, and they're trying to get out for work.
Oh shit.
And
Yeah,
I'd driven this van in. The back of the van facing the other way. The gate was in front. It was a normal 6 foot of panel fence, but they used it as a gate. I didn't know that, and these guys just said, "Right, who the fuck's put this van here?" So I can understand what it's like being in a van and
yeah.
someone's getting
All the
ready to
little
move
kids
it.
rocking the van and that,
Oh,
Rich.
it's worrying, mate. It's
Yeah,
worrying.
yes. It's what happened. 9 months. I've been rebailed about 2 times on this case, and on the third time they charged me. And even when I got charged for, oh, cool, I'm gonna go to prison for a little while. I'm still gonna get a not guilty at court. They can't give me a guilty for this. No way. Um, the evidence what they had on, the evidence what I was thinking they needed to like put a charge me, Rich. They didn't find no firearm. No firearm was found. No money was found. No DNA in the car that was used was found, and no one cannot pick me out in an ID parade, or no one does not even know what colour the arm rubber was. I
Mm.
was thinking, there's no way. It might look like I've done something, but if you haven't got them
Because
four
you had like
things,
different colour ballys on and tights and all sorts of things, wasn't it?
yeah.
Disguised.
Because one of the witnesses said, although we didn't see what colour he was, he sounded like a white man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was thinking, you don't even see what colour I was. How can you sound like a white man? I said, look,
Yeah.
I stood up in court and I said, most of my black friends sound whiter than me. What are you on about? Like
Yeah.
all the jury was just all white. They looked really racist. And
Yeah.
yeah, what got me guilty in the end, Rich, was my previous cash in transit back in 2005.
Yeah.
That was my dad's third firearm offence.
Yeah.
2 weeks before the robbery took place, like I said, Dad, my car driving in convoy, the car that was used.
Yeah.
And on the day of the robbery, my phone turns on 10 minutes after the robbery took place. And that was like 7 miles away from that area.
Mm.
It was just loads of little circumstantial bits of evidence what kind of come together to get me the guilty.
That's what it takes, isn't it, mate? Loads of little bits, which on their own they're nothing, but together
Together
paints a
is
picture,
something.
doesn't it?
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
even followed me to Bicester Village. I went to an outlet shop. They had like a Gucci shop there, Ralph Lauren.
Yeah.
They even followed me there. They're filming me buying my clothes in £20 notes because they said I took 40 grand in £20 notes. And they said, look, we
Yeah.
got him on CCTV spending £20 notes. But they couldn't prove that come from the robbery.
No, it's a 20, isn't it?
Yeah,
It
and
could be from
plus I
anywhere.
had money to my name them days, Rich, because I was doing a lot of white collar boxing. And my
Yeah.
boxing promoter at the time paid me £10,000 for my last
Yeah.
3 fights because I was a
Yeah.
very big ticket seller.
So tell me about the white collar boxer, mate. How did you get into that?
To be honest, Rich, I can't box to save my life. I was just very aggressive and very
Yeah.
fit and
Yeah.
just always up for a scrap. And
Yeah.
the promoter come up to me, is like, Lou, I think you'd be a good ticket seller.
Yeah.
And he offered me the deal. I was like, yeah, I'll take that. And
Yeah.
the first fight was early 2012. I think it's on my
I should.
YouTube channel.
Is it okay?
Yeah, I think it's on my YouTube channel. And like I said, I've got no boxing skills. I'm just aggressive and strong. I've got in the
Yeah.
ring. All the boys were cheering me on. I was so happy to be in there. At the same time,
Yeah.
I was really nervous as well. I've
Yeah.
got in there. We've touched gloves, but as we touched gloves, I've steamed straight into him, Rich. I steamed straight into him, and I've just
Yeah.
absolutely smashed him up in 8 seconds.
Really?
Yeah. He caught me with one uppercut, and it sent me back. But as I've come back in, I've caught him with a
Yeah.
right cross, and it's just
Yeah.
put him through the ropes.
Oh, nice one. So
Yeah.
how many fights did you do then of white
I only
collar?
had 3 fights.
Do you miss it?
Yeah, I'm trying to get back into it at the minute, Rich. I've been trying to get fit, but I've got an eating problem, man. I'm enjoying my food at the minute.
Food's good, mate. Food's
I'm
good. So
enjoying my
what
food, and I've torn my bicep probably about 3 months ago now. I've just left it to heal naturally, but I've lost about 20% strength in this arm.
did you do that having a furious wank?
Yeah. I was skiing my 2 mates off, and fucking, it's just gotta be, Rich, man.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
no, I've done it
mate.
in sparring. I threw a hook and my bicep just went.
It's so much shows how much energy you put into it, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I'm just waiting. I'm trying to get fit. I've got a little boxing bag I've been using now, so I'm hoping to have like an influencer fight next year now.
Yeah. Yeah. Who would you want to have a row with if you could pick an influencer apart from me, of course? But who would you want to go on there with?
Probably like someone off a reality TV program, of like Married at First Sight, or The Only Way is Essex, or Made in Chelsea.
Yeah.
I can't really pick anyone, but just someone off one of them shows, you know.
What about on TikTok? What influencer would you like to steam into on TikTok? Apart from, I'm not going to say some names because I don't want to give them the airtime, but
I know you're on about already. Do you know there's that HS Tiki Toki guy,
yeah,
but he looks
yes,
pretty good at boxing, though, Rich. You know,
yeah.
there's a good chance he might do me.
You just got to give it a go, hasn't it?
Yeah,
There's
no,
been
do
a
you know
few,
what it is?
hasn't there?
Once I'm in there, I've got so much confidence in myself
Yeah,
that I'm gonna win, and I've carried myself like that from ground up.
yeah,
Like, Lou, you're gonna win that. You're gonna win that.
yeah.
But yeah,
You're,
we'll call someone out next year, Rich.
yeah. We'll do it, mate. We'll get it on there because you're a unit, Lou. You're a unit. You can answer off, and like I say, apart from injuries, you're in good shape. I mean, I've seen your videos where you've done the flagpole, mate, and that's not easy to do.
I was doing that when I was 16 stone as well. I'm 14 at the minute.
Probably didn't bend the flagpole, mate, or whatever you're
Yeah,
holding on to.
yeah.
But
I think that's
that's
why I've got
some
so many
strength.
injuries now.
Yeah, doing these things in it takes its toll. So you got so let's go back to your sentence then. So you're running trial. They got all these little nuggets of information about you. The trial, the jury go out for deliberation. How long were they deliberating for? How long did they go out?
I think a few hours, Rich.
Just a few hours. So they pretty much
Yeah,
knew straight away then.
yeah, they didn't take long whatsoever. I remember going back for sentencing though, and I was talking to the solicitor, and I was like, what am I looking at here? Forgot like guy not guilty as well. He's like, you'll get like 10 years being a result, or 12 years being the worst case. And then I started calculating in my head, how am I going to get through this sentence?
Yeah.
So when I stood up in court and the judge said, Lewis Clark, I sentence you to 16 years in prison, I looked behind me like they made a mistake. I said, who,
yeah.
me?
The other Lewis Clark.
So they ended up giving me the 16 years and then brought me back to court 3 months later and put another year on top of that for the money, what was stolen.
No way.
That ended up with 17 years, Rich.
What? So they've done you for the 16 for the armed robbery and another year for the money that was the money that you robbed?
Yeah.
How the hell did they do that?
They're horrible bastards, man. They've done me. I'm still paying back, Rich. While I was in prison,
Poker.
Yeah, when I was in prison, it gained interest, and I paid back 20,000 so far.
Yeah.
So I only had another like 4,000 or something left to pay them. But while I was in prison, it's gained interest, and I owed them £14,000 still.
The interest on pocket is ridiculous. That's a deterrent alone, isn't it? Proceeds to crime.
£1.8 a day when I was in prison. It was going up.
That's almost what you're earning at HMP, isn't it?
Yep. £1.8 a day. Isn't it?
Shit. So you got 16 years rammed up your ass then. So how long did your Cody get?
He got a 9-year life sentence.
Oh really? So 9 because it's a third strike.
Yeah, because they had no other option but to give him a life sentence.
Really?
So yeah, he done all right getting a 9 years. He ended up
Yeah,
doing 11 and a bit years out of it.
yeah.
But he's home now and he's bored out of his head.
Well, so, let's hope he just stays bored.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing him staying bored though, to be honest.
Yeah, he needs something to
Yeah.
do, doesn't he? He needs to occupy himself.
Nah, he's doing all right now.
So when you got locked up for this 17 years, you were saying about they said, oh, you get a 10 or maybe a 12, and then you've already in your head said, right, okay, that's this much time on a cat B and a bit of time on a
Yeah,
cat C and a bit of cat
yeah,
D. You're already sort of figuring it out before you got sentenced, and you
yeah,
stick another four or five on top of that. That
yeah. There's
adds
that.
so much, doesn't it?
Yeah, I swear to God, I remember just getting back to the wing that day, and because I got back, you get back late from court, and all the boys are already
Yeah,
locked up.
and they
They're
already
shouting
know
out
what
there.
you've got for some reason. They've already heard, haven't they?
You've already heard. They're
How
like,
does that
Lou, man,
work?
piss for you. Like, I come out in the morning, and in a way as well, though, Rich, I felt good. I thought, it's a relief. I know what I'm doing now, because for a long
Yeah.
time I was just in prison thinking, how long am I going to get?
How long was your gap between being found guilty and sentencing?
I think it's about 4 months. It
Oh,
wasn't.
quite a while then.
It was quite long. They left me waiting for a long time.
Yeah, yeah, that
So yeah,
sucks.
it was stressful just waiting on that, thinking, I've got to go
Mm,
back for sentencing now. And do you
yeah,
know what's funny? A week after I got sentenced, the judge who sentenced me was in the Sun newspaper for giving out harsh sentences.
really. So
Judge Critchlow.
did that give any grounds for appeal? Because
I
he was a
tried.
twat.
I tried. I appealed it. I did appeal it, but they just knocked me back straight away, and I didn't
Really?
fancy going again, just in case they make you restart it.
Yeah, that's the killer. If the little is it a little tick in the box on the appeal form? You can reappeal if you like, but we advise you not to because if you do,
Yeah,
you might still.
yeah. I remember
Yeah,
his name, Judge Critchlow.
yeah. You never forget name. Mine was Judge Picton. He was known as the smiling assassin because he just smiled and grinned whilst he gave you years, just
Horrible,
writing it
horrible
off.
man.
So talking about getting into jail. Now I've been inside with you as we spoke about earlier, and I know how you do your time. You've done your time. We've spoken in the past. You said that you did this sentence differently to other ones, didn't you? In the
Yeah.
sense of you. So what changed, mate? What was different about that? What made you want to do it differently?
The fact that I had a daughter,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
had my little girl. I had my dad with me while I was in prison, and he kind of like in a way showed me how to do my bird and just keep your head down and go home. And me getting into altercations while I was in prison was only gonna prolong my sentence and stop me getting home to my daughter early. So I just thought to myself, I'm gonna keep my head down and try and get home as early as possible for my daughter.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I
I
mean,
left I left her when she was 2 years old, Rich.
it's hard, isn't it, mate? Because I
Broke
know
broke my
leaving
heart. It
kids,
broke my heart, that did, and I'm pretty sure it broke her as well.
and that's got to be one of the biggest motivators, hasn't it? To not wanting to go back to jail as your kids. Can I ask a question? This might be difficult, and I mean no disrespect to your dad whatsoever, because I know your dad is a really good bloke, top bloke. Has your dad ever sort of stood up and said, "Lou, does he take a responsibility for your direction in life at all? Has he ever stepped back and said, look, Lou, do you know what? I could have done things differently."
Yeah, of course. But you know what's funny, Rich? Like you say that throughout my whole childhood, like that when my dad was around, he was always trying to push me into getting a job.
Was he?
My dad used to try and drop me off at his mate's workplace, like to see if I
Yeah,
was gonna like it. He'd try and get me into college, and I
yeah,
didn't want to do it, Rich. I was not listening to anything he was saying. Maybe if he had a job and he was going to work every day, then I
yeah,
might have wanted to do it. But when he's like, Lou, you need to get a job, you need to get yourself a trade, I just
yeah.
wasn't listening, Rich. He was trying his hardest
He
to
already
get
knew,
me a
didn't
job.
he? He knew what was right from wrong. He knew he didn't want you
He
to follow
knew.
the same. So
Yeah,
you,
he tried, man.
so was your how was your dad influenced then? Was your dad influenced by his family? Is it a family sort of thing, or
Not really, because my granddad, his dad, I think he was a coach driver.
yeah,
And I don't think he had anything to do with crime. I think it's just your surroundings when you're growing up and who you're around.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and I always think, was I always going to go down that road, even if my dad wasn't in my life? And I think possibly I was rich
yeah,
because I was getting up to things before I'd done anything with my dad.
yeah? I don't think we could blame our parents. I mean, look. My dad was in the police, and I ended up doing what I did. You're either going to be either about the life, or you're not about the life. And I think you make these
Yeah,
decisions, and a lot of it, Lou, you know the score. It's adrenaline. You get that
Yeah,
little bug, you get that little taste of something. If, oh, like you say, when you get nearly shot and you're not dead, you think, oh, that was all right, wasn't it? That adrenaline, you can't get it from any drugs, mate. That's so
you
powerful.
can't, because the part about doing robberies and stuff, Rich, I used to enjoy was putting things in place and planning it, thinking, oh god, they're gonna have 40 grand in this one. No, they might have 20 grand in this one. Uh, the buzz I used to get for it felt so good, and it's don't get me wrong, Rich. I still think about all of these things all the time, but I would never ever go and do something like that ever again.
Yeah.
But to find that buzz is very hard.
Yeah, I was in with a Manchester guy up at Loudon Grange, and he was in for armed robbery, and he said for him the money was a byproduct. He said the adrenaline of doing the job was all he wanted, and if he got a good
Yeah,
payout, he was happy. And I think being involved in any sort of crime, there's a buzz, isn't there? It's the cops and robbers, a cat and mouse, like try
that's
not to
this
get
cat and
caught.
mouse.
Yeah, we're there to make to give them something to do, and their job is to try and catch us, and our job is to make it hard for them to catch us. But we do our best, and it's that buzz. How do you replace that?
I've not really replaced it, Rich, because I still, even when I'm driving or walking and I see things being delivered, I still have a look over, but it's not like I'm looking because I'm going to do it. I just have a little cheeky look over and just doing this on purpose now, ain't you?
I
Rubbing it
know
in.
because when we met up to do our on the scene film of XCon Chronicles, when Yon came down, we met up in the retail
Yeah,
centre, didn't we? And you saw a security van, you'd already clocked it and its movements. You were like
yeah.
already casing it out.
It's so bad, Rich. I used to have sleepless nights over these things. I should have went
Yeah,
to the doctors really and said, "Listen, this is what's going on. I need help. How do I stop thinking about this?"
yeah. Do you know what? You just got to apply that train of thought into something different. It's a skill that you've learned of assessing things and looking at things and sizing things up.
Mm,
There'll be a way to use that to apply it to something else. You just need to find what it is. It's just
yeah,
awareness. It's a level of awareness that you're looking out for. It's a handy thing to have. It keeps you alive as well.
yeah. I think
Keeps you
getting
going.
getting into these little auditions, what you helped me with, Rich, these little playing extra casting and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying these sort of things as well because I feel really nervous when I'm going to do it. But after I leave, I've got like a little buzz about me. I feel like, oh, I've done
Yeah.
something today.
You follow instructions, do this, do that. Oh, great. What if I get it wrong? I look a right twat.
Uh, Rich, I was going to have a meltdown the other day.
Yeah.
We're shooting a shot in Brixton, like in a
Yeah.
nightclub sort of scene. And they had all the party disco lights on, and they's getting us to fill up to go into the little dance bit. I was thinking, oh, please don't get me to dance, please. I was having a meltdown, and it's like, okay, just stand over there and just look shocked when they
Yeah.
fall off the stage or whatever. But I was having a complete meltdown that they was going
Oh,
to get me to
yeah.
dance. I was like, please, no, 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 no.
And if they say stuff like "take your clothes off," you'll be naked before they even finish the
Boom.
sentence. It's gone. Well, they did. I did one on set the other day. If they ever offer you to say, "Do you want to smoke?" Do it. You get paid money to smoke, but it's not a real cigarette. It's a fake roll up with just herbs in it, not green. Well, it is
Oh,
green,
cool,
but
I'll
it's
do
herbs.
that.
You just got to be sitting there, and I sat there with this fag in my mouth that wasn't even lit. Got paid extra money just to have a cigarette in my mouth. Just do it
It
every
all
time.
helps. I'm
Yeah,
just hoping I get a bigger role though.
bread roll. What you talk about your eating problem? What sort of roll are you going for now? Free
I,
fillings?
listen, I want to actually, I want to be in like, I want to be part of something, Rich. I want to be like in a series, or I just don't want to be seen like in the background, like woo, like looking
There's
shocked. I want to
Lewis.
be part
I
of it.
know that guy.
I know
Yeah.
that guy. What's he doing there?
So talking about you've done your bird then. You've done it. You're 16, 17 years. You're out to do what? 8.5 behind the
Eight
door.
and a half year, yeah.
When did you get out? 2020,
21, the end of 21.
2021.
So I've been out 3 years next month.
So did you get Cat D, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, so I've done the first 3 years. I've done in Highdown, which is a
Yeah.
B cat, and
Yeah.
from there I've managed to gain my C cat. I've gone from Highdown to Coldly. I think I've done just over a year in Coldly, which is a C cat, but they shipped me out because security reasons,
Yeah.
and I got moved to H&P Only.
Only
Which,
that's up in the Midlands, isn't it?
yeah, it's in Rugby, which
Rugby,
is a
Leicester.
C cat as well. But
Yeah.
in a way, I'm glad they moved me up there. I've done about 3 and a bit years in there,
Yeah.
and I had it cushy in there. I had it very good, Rich. Like I
Yeah.
had good relationships with certain people, and
Yeah.
I had it good, Rich.
Yeah. If you know when you land in a jail and you know it's going to work for you because you got an inn to all the different things, all the right places, all the right people. You got good food, good pad, everything's sweet, isn't it?
Everything was all right, and I was keeping my head down. I was enjoying my gym. I got massive when I was in there, Rich, and
Yeah,
I got a red band as well, so I got to walk around the whole prison.
yeah,
They made me the violence reduction rep because the prison staff could see I get on with all the youngsters and
yeah,
I could diffuse certain situations. So they'd be like, Lou, before the officers get involved, do you want to try and sort it out so
yeah,
nothing happens, which was a good idea. But
yeah. Did you
what,
feel good at that? Good, were you good at mediation then?
yeah, I got a lot of the youngsters in there really looked up to me, you know.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, mate.
But what happened, Rich? While I was in there, like I said, I was red band and I was floating around the prison. The prison governor come to see me on the wing and he's like, Lewis, we need to take your red band off you. And
No.
I was like, why? And this was come from the police outside, Rich.
Yeah.
The police outside had put something in place with Only to take my red band off me to stop me being able to circle around the prison.
No way.
Yeah, they had some intel thing on me from the outside police, and they took my red band off me.
That's nasty, mate. So, without going into it, was there good reason for that?
Not really, because I wasn't doing anything, Rich.
Really?
I wasn't hustling, I wasn't doing nothing in the prison, and but after that, I went and done a couple courses and stuff,
Yeah.
and the governor come to see me again. My DCAT was coming up, Rich. The same
Yeah.
governor's come to see me again with a big smile on his face, and he's like, Lou, we're gonna take you out of this department because we can see something blossoming into something which could lead to you getting in trouble,
Yeah.
which was with a prison staff. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So
Oh.
yeah.
An
So they
inappropriate relationship
yeah
potentially.
they thought I was
What was
having a relation.
what was his name? Dave.
Big Dave.
Big
So yeah,
Dave.
they because I actually got on with the governor in it, and he's like, Lou, to
Yeah.
stop you getting in trouble, you got your DCAT coming up. We
Yeah.
want you just on the wing now, and I ended up being a wing cleaner for the last 3 months, and then I managed to
Yeah.
get my DCAT.
Yeah.
But you can find
Worthwhile
out
though.
more about what happened with that prison staff when I get this book out, man.
Yeah. So we'll get onto that in a bit. So you get released 2021, back into 2021, you come out of jail. Pretty much from that point on, you're dealing with your mental health then, aren't you? Did it come to light then that when you come out of jail, that's when PTSD, for want of a better word, has caused you a problem?
Yeah, it's Rich. The first few months of being out, I wanted to go back to prison because I felt safer.
Yeah.
Like there was certain situations when I was going home. I was going home one night. It was quite late. There was a
Yeah.
transit van parked up on the side of the road with the side loader open.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, if I walk past that, they're going to push me straight in the back of that van. So
Really?
I've walked on the other side of the road, all right around it. It was just the
Yeah.
delivery man, no Rich, on
Yeah.
that
That's
night. But me thinking the way I think is
yeah.
they can easily get me in the back of that, and I'm not going to have that. Only because I know what certain things to look out for. I've been through a
Yeah.
lot. I know exactly what to look out for. I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
And even with the motorbikes and stuff, loud noises,
Yeah.
keys jingling.
Do you panic when you're driving along and you mirror see a bike coming up quickly down the inside and he
I get
slows
my
down
hand on the.
quickly?
I get ready
I'm
to
ready to
knock them
give him
off
one
the
of those.
bike. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready all the time. I
Yeah.
hate it, Rich. I hate motorbikes.
Yeah.
Like you know the reason behind why I hate the motorbike so much.
I do. Do you want to go into it a little bit, or do you want to save that for your
Yeah.
book?
No, I've spoken about this before, so it's
Yeah.
something we can
Go on,
talk
mate.
about. Like we said, I was involved in gangs. It was a late night. We're walking to the shops, me, my brother, and about 5 other people.
Yeah.
We got to the main road, and as we got to the main road, we just heard a motorbike pulled up. Boom, boom, boom. Started letting off shots, probably about
Yeah.
20 odd shots.
Yeah.
And I didn't know at the time that one of them's hit my pal on the shoulder,
Yeah.
took his little finger off,
Really? Fucking
and
hell.
then a few's got the first shots hit my brother in his Achilles,
Yeah.
and it's dropped him. My brother's in stupid flip flops, the idiot. One of
Yeah.
them's got him in his Achilles, so he's dropped on the floor straight away. And there's nothing I could do, so I continued to run. Got down at the bottom of a hill, and I was hiding behind like a metal bin, looking up. The motorbikes pulled up right next to my brother Rich and got off and carried on shooting him. They shot him like another
No.
4 times. And as they was doing that, I was already on the phone to an ambulance. I said, I thought he was dead. I said, can you come and get my brother? He's dead. He's on this bit of the road. And I locked off. And so as the last shots hit him, I heard, oh, I was like, oh shit, he's still alive.
He's still alive.
It gave me hope. So when the bike fucked off, I've run straight up the hill, pulled my brother's clothes off, started covering up all these holes and that for him. And then when I realised he was all right when he said, "Luke, can you take my money out my pocket?" Because he had a few quid. He had a few quid in his pocket. So I just said, "Cool." Gave it to one of the youngsters to go away with.
Yeah.
And I just waited for the ambulance to come. But as you know, the police response come first.
Yeah.
Checked everything was safe, and then the ambulance took him away. But the funny story about it, Rich, was when he was cutting all his clothes off.
Yeah.
Literally had him there naked. So they started cutting his jeans off. And my brothers looked at me and said, "Lou, they're going to see my Rice Krispie." So in my brother's groin, he's got like a little, what they called, a little grow thing.
Yeah, like a sort of warty
a skin tag.
Yeah,
it's got a skin tag. Well, it's like a Rice Krispie. He's like, "Lou, they're going to see my Rice Krispie." So I'm trying to hold a laugh, and I'm thinking, "You've just been shot 5 times, man."
Yeah.
So that made me feel better and know he's all right.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how many times my other friend had got shot at the time either, because he was on a mountain bike.
Yeah.
So he's already been shot twice. I know that because he was right next to me on his bike. But he's managed to go all the way back to the estate and collapsed on the estate. He got hit 5 times as well, Rich.
Did he?
He survived as well.
And that goes back to what we were saying about people understanding guns. They just randomly shoot, don't they? Just pointing in the general direction.
To be honest with that one, they probably hit their right targets.
Yeah. So it was obviously a planned hit then. It was. Were they planning for you as well then? Was that intended for you as well?
Whoever was in that little bunch there.
Yeah.
My brother, he's a very well-known guy in South London. So for them to hit him, that they had a one-up on us, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. And you all survived.
We all survived. Good, yeah.
It must enough to wake you up doing it. And that is guaranteed going to give you PTSD. 100%, mate. Anything coming up behind you, bangs, noises. Do you avoid that area?
No, I have to go down there, Rich. My daughter lives down there. So I go down there twice a week to see my daughter.
How do you feel when you're going down that way? Are you triggered?
I get heart palpitation, my heart starts going. I'm finding it hard. My breath's going now. I struggle to breathe.
Yeah, so what we'll do, we won't talk about it anymore because I don't want you triggered. With me being someone that works with therapy, it's probably not a good idea to take you down that road right now.
Yeah, no, my throat's going dry and that. But yeah, I just get heart palpitations and stuff. Yeah.
But I think it's important for people to see the damage, isn't it? To understand how this is real for you, isn't it? This is real stuff. This isn't made up.
This is not made up, man. Like, just funny, Rich. I used to ask myself, am I making all this up in my head? All these things what happened. And I actually had to go on Google and just type in so-and-so got shot on so-and-so. I was like, look, it's right there. It did happen. Like, I'm not going mad.
Yeah.
You start questioning yourself, Rich. You start doubting yourself.
Yeah. Well, you've lived a life which people don't always believe is real or true. A lot of people get involved in that world, and they just, when you tell them, especially with social media these days, you can throw it out there, can't you? And you get the people saying, "Oh no, that never happened," or "It's Jay from Betweeners," and you think these people making comments have not lived. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but don't doubt people like yourself who have lived that life. You're trying to deter people from that life of being honest, aren't you? You're open about it.
Because that wasn't the first near-death experience. 3 years before that, Rich, I was standing outside a pub, and again, someone's come in the middle of the road with a machine gun, let alone all the windows have gone through, and I'm standing next to the bouncer. The bouncer's been shot straight through his head, Rich.
No way.
While I'm standing next to me, I've had to step over his body and get back into the bar and jump straight over the bar.
Yeah.
And that's another situation. He got shot, and my friend Kwame got shot. He got shot in the leg. He survived though. But look, the bouncer's innocent. Nothing to do with any gangs. An idiot spraying a machine gun. You shot the wrong person.
That's almost like a Pulp Fiction moment, isn't it? Where you kind of stood there and then someone unloads everything at you and everything misses you. It's like, that's divine intervention. Well, it's not. It's just you're really lucky. But you're just not ready to go yet, mate. Simple as that.
Yeah. Sad.
Wow. Well, it's the life that you had, but you got to feel like you've learned? Have you learned from it? That's the main thing.
Yeah, I've definitely learned from it, and I even think like if I was to see the people that done it or find out the people that done it, would I retaliate? And the answer to that's no. I
Yeah,
just don't want them to ever do that again.
ship is sour, doesn't it, mate? With these sort of things.
Because this is what a lot of people need to do. They need to like accept certain situations and move on from it. Otherwise, it's forever going to be holding you back.
Yeah. So, what advice you got if someone's, I don't know what sort of audience we're going to pick up on this podcast. Is going to be quite versatile. There's going to be all sorts of people on there. But you've got people out there which are younger, easily influenced. What's your advice to them, mate?
My advice to them is put your ego aside. Um, just think about, would you rather be in prison for the next 30 years, staring at the floor, being around a load of men, or would you rather be at home with your family or with the missus? It's that simple. What would you rather? Because your life could change within a second of doing something stupid what you're going to regret. Just think about it. Would you rather stare at the floor for 30 years, a load of ball bags in your face every day, or be at home with a family and the
Yeah.
missus? It's that simple, Rich. And
Yeah.
the thing is also living with regret. You might do
Mm.
something, stab someone, shoot someone, or do something mental like that. You got to live with that regret
Yeah.
for the rest of your life.
And it might seem at the time something they're willing to accept and do, but that only lasts for a few moments, doesn't it, mate?
It does. Forgive and let things go. Like this incident here, Rich, I lost a bit of my ear
Yeah.
fighting with a few fellas. I've told myself if I was to see the fella now, I'd say hello, mate. Well, I'd let it go, Rich. It
Yeah.
happened 15, 20 years ago now, and
Yeah.
we'll probably both laugh about it because I bashed him up anyway, but he managed to get my ear, and
it
I'd be
it
like,
yeah, it
I'd call
doesn't
him over,
notice,
Rich.
mate. It doesn't
I'd be like,
notice.
come here, mate. Come here. It's cool. And I'll shake his hand and
Yeah.
say, let's just leave that one there now, man.
Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? So you've
I've
gone,
let that one go.
yeah, it's life, isn't it? It's growing up. Could have been worse. You've gone
Could have
through
been
so
worse.
much, Lou. What gets you through then? Tough times, isn't it? PTSD, dealing with stuff, memories. What keeps you going?
Rich, every day I still struggle daily with things.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's what you do about it. I've got my kids now. I've got another new little girl now. She's 5 months old. So I've got my kids out here. I've got to do better for them. I've got to show up for them. But when I go back to thinking about what happened about my past, that sometimes I still find it hard to get out of my head. But I go for walks, or
Yeah.
yeah, my main thing is that I go for walks or I try and train. I try and get
Yeah.
something done for the day just to try and block it out. But it does ruminate a lot still.
Yeah. And that's something which we've spoken about before, which I promise we will catch up and I will help you with that because that's something I can do, isn't it? About getting rid of those demons you're dealing with. But it's hard, isn't it? It's stuff going on. And does your past define who you are now, or has it made you the person who you are now? What do you think?
It's made me the person I am now. I'm a lot more calmer. Whereas before, I'd never used to be able to take a joke, Rich.
Because
Like
you're not.
now, me and you, we rip each other all the time, don't we?
Yeah.
Like I never used to be able to laugh before, Rich. I wasn't very
Really.
happy. I don't think I was very happy. Now I'm a lot more happier. My friends enjoy having me around a lot more because before I was always fighting every other weekend.
Yeah. You're no longer a liability.
And yeah, I was a proper liability for having fights and ruining the whole night. Whereas now,
Yeah.
I had a good night out last week, Rich. Really good, enjoyed myself. Had a little dance
Yeah.
with the boys. I ain't seen them for a long time, and we've all grown up. We've all
Yeah.
grown up now, Rich, and we've realised we wasted a lot of time sitting on the block, selling drugs, and just
Yeah.
chatting the most rubbish when we could have been out living our lives and creating
Yeah.
something great for ourselves.
That happiness that you feel, when it first starts off, it's just going through the motions and it's on the outside, isn't it? It's not really real. Does that happiness now come from inside? Do you feel it?
Yeah, my happiness comes from me doing things for people.
Yeah.
Like that's where I get the most happiness from when I'm able to do something for someone.
Why do you think that is?
I was going to say I'm a bit of a giver, Rich, but
I know. I
enjoy,
spent 3 days in a pub with you, mate. I know you are.
I enjoy seeing the look on people's faces just to like
Yeah,
cheer someone up, even if it's me on Instagram making silly videos, like little comedy
yeah,
videos and making people laugh. I enjoy that, Rich.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I think I want to get back into creating little funny videos and stuff. And
Yeah. Your stuff's funny, mate. I love watching your skits on TikTok. They
they're so
crack me right up.
they're so,
You live in homeless in a box outside your flat.
the thing is, the thing what makes me laugh about it, Rich, my acting skills are so rubbish. It's even funnier to watch because
Yeah,
of it.
yeah, and the good thing is that you're happy. You want to make people smile. You want to make people feel comfortable.
Yeah,
You know,
that's it.
that's what I've learned about you. Even being in a pub with you for 3 or 4 days, your first thing is you're very accommodating. You like people to feel relaxed around you, and maybe that's because how you want to feel around them at the same time, isn't it? You know, you want
Exactly,
that relaxed environment. So, Lou, tell me a little
exactly
bit
that.
about this book you're writing. You know, I know it's taken you a while, and I
Oh,
know it's
Rich,
going to
I've been
take you a while.
struggling. I was gonna get out. It's somewhere. It's in my some of it's on my laptop now, but I need to redo it all over again, Rich, because there's certain events what happened before that one, and I've not done it in order. If you know what I mean.
It doesn't have to be in order straight away. You can put it in order once you've got as
Yeah.
much down. You can jiggle that
I've
around a bit.
really struggling with it. I need to physically sit down with someone because I can't look at a computer screen, Rich, because the words start moving about as well after
You
two
got a bit of
minutes.
ADHD, ADHD, ADHD,
ADHD? I've got a bit of
ADHD, mate.
ADHD.
ADHD,
A
Australia,
bit,
mate.
bit of dyslexia.
Yeah,
So usually I've got to read through like a green paper or something when I read.
yeah,
So it's not helping on the laptop, but all the words keep moving about. I need someone to come and sit down with me and go through it with me because I've got so many funny untold stories and
yeah.
some other stories that are just absolutely mental, which you wouldn't even believe.
So do
So
you think
as
you
you
might
know,
be, sorry, mate, do you think you might be good getting a ghostwriter then? Do you think that could be the way to go?
I think so, man. I think getting a ghostwriter in to come and help me out because I've only told 50% of my life in these podcasts.
Yeah,
I've saved, even though some of the stories are exciting, I've saved the other 50% for a book, which I
you've got
think
to, mate.
everyone's going to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Don't
They're
give
going
all
to
the
be
best
drawn
meat
in.
to podcasters, mate. You've got to get them on the books because that's what makes it intriguing. And then you always remember stuff when you're writing a book and you write down an event you remember, you think, oh, no, I remember that.
Like
Shit,
little
I've
things
got to
what
put
keep,
that in.
yeah, this is what's going on, Rich. Little
Yeah,
things keep popping up here and there. So I don't know how to really go about it. I've done about 8 or 9 chapters now,
yeah.
but
Just do what you can.
I need to pull it in order. I don't know how much a ghostwriter would cost me. Probably about 10 grand. You
They're
reckon?
not cheap, mate, but you know, you find some if you've got a good story and you throw it out there, you never know. You might be able to get someone who's potentially at university studying
This is
their
what I was thinking.
you know, and say, look, do you want to do this as a project with me? Be a ghostwriter. Never know.
Well, let's put a message out there now on here, Rich. If there's
Anyone
someone
out
at
there?
university now watching our
Yeah,
podcast and you'd like to come on board with me writing a book, just give me a shout or give Rich a message and we can get some work done. I will
yeah,
give you some pay, but I can't afford all of it, all right?
yeah. Put them on a commission for every book that gets sold. Give them a little slice of the royalties, mate.
I think it'd do really well, Rich. This is,
Well,
I
mate.
think, because people have been messaging me to come on their podcast, but I'm not doing anymore until I've got a book out. It's pointless
Yeah.
otherwise.
Yeah, we've only scratched the surface of your story, mate. I mean, that's the point of this. The way I do the podcast is not have a long-winded 2-3 hour job because you've got so much in there which you need to keep in there for the right time. And now is not that time, is it? This is to
No,
get your name out there.
yeah,
Lou, thank you so much for joining me on Through Adversity. I have really enjoyed having a good old catch up with you. And
yeah.
it's been
Enjoyed it
nice
too,
just
Rich,
looking
man.
at your handsome face for the last hour or so. Before I go,
Yeah.
I want to say thank you to MVS Autos, our sponsor, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and make a comment. Thank you very much. Take care and goodbye.
Take care.
Sit tight, Lou. We're still recording.